Hello, everyone. My name is Krista, and I'm the Health and Wellness Manager here at Special Olympics Missouri. Today, I'm very excited to introduce Amber. She is a Special Olympics athlete in Utah, and she'll be talking to you about falconry today. But first, I would like to thank some of our sponsors that help make SOMOatHome possible. P&G Manufacturing, Simon's PLM, P&G Paper Products, Kirksville Motor Company, Hy-Vee of St. Joseph, Sertoma Club of St. Joseph, General Mills, J.W. Terrell, and Concrete Strategies. I will be monitoring questions on Facebook for Amber, but Amber, the stage is yours. Go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? My name is Amber Gertsch. I am a Special Olympic athlete for a little over 23 years for Special Olympics Utah. I have been working with these birds ever since I was 13 or 14 years old. I work at a nature center by my house. I have worked with bird rehabilitation and all that fun stuff. I got into working or flying hawks and falconry when I was about 19 years old. But I'm going to talk to you guys today about birds in general and my favorite type of birds, the raptors, which are the hawks, eagles, falcons. And raptors are birds that catch prey, like rabbits and mice, with their feet. They have really strong feet. This isn't a real foot. This is a fake eagle foot. But raptors catch food with their feet. But what makes a bird a bird? When you look at a bird, what makes a bird a bird? And she's kind of showing you with her wings and her feathers. Feathers are what makes a bird a bird. As you look at this bird, raptors have special tools. I talked about one, her feet. But as you look at her, another way you can tell she's a raptor is her nice hooked, curved beak. She uses that to tear pieces of food off whatever she catches. She doesn't like being in the house. But another thing that they have that kind of helps them as raptors are their really good eyesight. She can clearly see a rabbit from a mile away, clearly see a mouse from a mile away. They're really quick at flying. Her feet, when she is grabbing her feet with her foot, she can squeeze from 4,000 pounds or 400 pounds of pressure to 500 pounds of pressure. So really strong feet. When she flies, she can fly at speeds up to 45 to 50 miles per hour. In a dive, it's 100 miles per hour. But the reason I can have her as a falconer, you have to be licensed. And the licensing is interesting because you have to take a state and federal test and pass it with an 80% or higher. And they question you on the bird habits, where they hunt, how long it takes for them to become an adult. But you have to have a permit to have these birds because they are protected by state and federal laws. And it's not easy. I'll show you some of the books. Some of the books that I study out of on bird identification and bird knowledge. Okay, Falconry is the sport of kings. To be back in the day, clear back in the Renaissance days, only kings could do that. And what they would do is they would take a wild bird out of the wild, train it to come to you for food, which is what I do, she looks at me as the refrigerator. Hold on, she's hot, sorry.
Tell her what you're doing.
I'm actually spraying water on her to cool her down as she's doing what we call panting, trying to cool down.
Tell them it's really hot in Utah.
It's really hot in Utah. It's in the double digit, it's about 104 degrees right now. But falconry is a noble sport. Unlike other sports where you can put the gun away or a baseball bat or glove, you can't just put her in a closet. I fly her every day. I handle her every day. Like I try and have her on my glove as often as I can. And I'll explain to you why I have her. Her name is Natiri. In the wild, the mother stays at the nest. The father goes, catches the food, comes back to the nest, gives it to the mother, and the mother gets little pieces of the food and feeds the babies. In the wild, the females are larger than the males because they have to lay on the eggs to keep the babies warm, and then they protect the nest. The fathers have to be quick and agile, and the smaller you are, the faster you are. But her mother was actually electrocuted. She landed on a bad power pole and it electrocuted her. So her and her sister were actually starving to death. I didn't have a bird at the time, so I took her under my permit. She will never be released.
Why?
Because she's an imprint, which means that she looks to me for food. Unlike other birds that can go out and hunt and catch their own stuff. I catch starlings with her and bugs, but she wouldn't catch anything larger than that.
Where do you get her food?
And it's not a cheap sport. I spend about $130 on quail every 2 months that come to me frozen from Oregon. And it's
Little baby.
Well, they're feathered, but she's gonna rouse, fluff her, get the water off her feathers. But the glove I'm wearing is pretty expensive. It cost me about $200. So it's not a sport that you can just get into and leave. In fact, they're harder to take care of than a cat or a dog. They're like a baby person. But unlike a pet cat or a dog, you can pet and hold and hug them. You can't hug her because she's a wild animal. And if you look at her feet, see how she has the sharp talons, the claws, but we call them talons. They can hurt you with those. But a reason why we can take these birds out of the wild is only 1 out of 9 live in the wild, which means 8 die in the wild from disease, other birds, starvation. She would have been one of the 8 that would have died if my boss wouldn't have found her.
How about bringing back eagles and falcons?
Just a fun tip. It's because of falconers that the bald eagle and the peregrine falcon came off the endangered species list. Falconers got together and did studies with them and took care of them and released them into the wild. And yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, we're kind of skipping around. If you look at her eyes, She has a special little eyelid that when she catches food, she can actually close over her eyelid and it protects her eyelid. It's called the nictitating membrane. It's really quite neat. They're amazing animals and I love them. Let's see. Show you a special little hood. As you can tell, she's kind of nervous with everything going on around her. So she flies. A lot of times falconers will actually put a hood over their head to calm them down. This one is a little different. She doesn't like the hood. In fact, it scares her. Let's see. I'll show you. In the old days, they would actually put these bells on her so they could find their bird when the bird on her leg. So when she goes down on something, they could find her because they blend in so well that if you couldn't hear them, you couldn't find them. Well, this is today's bells. This is telemetry. This is probably the most expensive piece of gear I have. But it sends off a little radio signal and you can pick up on the radio signal and track them down.
Explain what she just did and why.
What's interesting is when you'll see her kind of grab her feathers and put them, work them back into position. What she's doing is they have special little hooks on their feathers that when she grabs it with her beak, she can actually rehinge it. Almost like a zipper. It's pretty cool. Now I'm going to explain to you, this was from when she was a young bird. They don't get their red tail till after their first year. So when I first got her, this is what her tail looked like. Not this beautiful red feather.
Turn her around so they can see her tail.
But that's how you can tell she's a red-tailed hawk. It's the red tail. But there again, they don't always have a red tail. But as I'm showing you the feathers, I need to stress that you can't have red-tailed hawk or any bird of prey like eagle, hawk, owl feather. In fact, you can pick them up and look at them and then put them down, but they are protected. You can get in trouble for having them. I have my permit that says I can have them.
How did you get that feather?
She changes her feather. She molts every summer. And it's interesting because in the wild, they don't molt them all like a parrot sometimes does, because they still need to fly and hunt. She will actually lose one feather on one side of the wing, and then the exact same feather a couple days later on the other side of the wing, so she can still fly. It's pretty amazing. Nature just makes them the way they need to be able to hunt. Let's see what.
Suggest they go to a bird refuge where they live.
If you're really interested in these birds, I would suggest seeing if you have a bird refuge by where you live. See if you can volunteer there, and so you can see what it's like. Holding them is the fun part. Cleaning out their chamber, not so much. Their hawk house.
Where does your hawk live, Amber?
I can take you guys outside and show you. We'll walk outside right now and I'll show you where she lives. Follow me out.
Follow her out.
We came in here because it was so noisy outside
And hawk.
and hot. During the day, I keep her in this, I have a perch in here that she sits on. I put her in. And then at night, so she's safe. And these aren't cheap either. I have this special little hot house. We call it a mew that she goes in to sleep in.
How is it dirty, Amber? What's in there?
She enjoyed her feather, her quail. It's quail feathers all over. So what I do almost every day, I have to go out and clean out the feathers and stuff and change her water, make sure she has clean water. Just like any animal, you have to really take care of it and stuff.
Amber, do you give her a bath?
No, she actually takes a bath out of her bath pan that's in the weathering area right now. And then I actually kind of give her a little shower with the hose.
Let's go back.
Yeah, let's go back in so we don't hear the wind.
Tell them about your shirt, Amber.
Oh, the shirt that I'm wearing is a picture of my favorite bird, the golden eagle. I've always loved golden eagles. But
Could you have a golden eagle as a falconer, Amber?
there are different levels that you go on. A master class falconer, you could have an eagle. I'm a general class falconer. And then there's the lowest level, which is the apprentice.
How many years to get to be what you are, Amber?
It took me about 5 years to get general. But it takes about 7 or 8 years to go master class.
Would you want to get an eagle, Amber?
They are too much bird for me.
You might want to repeat it. I don't know if they heard.
I would love to fly an eagle, but they're too big and too strong for me to handle. I wouldn't want to, and we don't have the space around here to fly one. They require huge, big areas like out by the deserts and stuff where they can fly and catch jackrabbits.
Tell them what you do at the nature center, Amber.
I actually handle the eagles at the nature center. I clean out the mews. I feed them. So I give them their quail and their fish. She wants to go outside. But it takes her a year to get a red tail, like I said. But I'm just repeating.
Okay, it's time for questions.
Do you guys have any questions? You're welcome to answer or to ask questions.
Yes, thank you, Amber. We're getting lots of compliments about how pretty of a bird she is. We do have one question. How long have you been working with this bird specifically?
Oh, good question. I've worked with her. I've had her for about 7 years now. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
And do you have any other birds?
I only have time for one. One bird takes a lot of time, and it's not fair to the bird if you can't put in the right amount of time for him.
Tell them about the vet.
Oh, and another thing is you can't just go to a normal vet with these. They've got to be specially trained in handling birds of prey and stuff like that. And there's only one where I live. So she's hot.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, go ahead.
Any other questions?
That was the last of our questions, but I was just going to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And we look forward to having future sessions with you.
I'm willing to do anything. I have snakes too. My little one is kind of small, but.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sure we could definitely enjoy learning about snakes as well. Thank you for your time, Amber. And
you're welcome. You guys have
again soon.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.